The same capacity to listen to each other is really the hope of bridging the separations and resolving the violence around the globe. I mean, it's really not until we are able to listen to people that we've considered as the unreal other, like really the getting to know by listening, that we can then include them in our hearts. And one of my favorite examples of this, there was a camp in rural New Jersey called Building Bridges, and I think they may have held the same camp in other places where they'd bring together groups of people that hadn't been able to connect because they were in conflict. In this case, it was Palestinian and Israeli teenage girls. They'd bring together, they'd fly them in, and then they'd spend some weeks, I don't remember how many, in this process of getting to know that really had a lot to do with compassionate listening. And I'll tell you one story. A Palestinian girl shared in the group how Israeli soldiers had barged into her family's house, beaten up everybody, and then after finding out they were at the wrong place, left without apology. So the group facilitator then, and this is the compassionate listening, asked an Israeli teen to repeat the story and repeat it in first person and to include the feelings, the rage, the terror that she might have felt, okay? And so she did this. The Israeli girl listened to the story and retold it, and at that point the Palestinian girl began to weep, and she said, "My enemy heard me." It brings chills to me. My enemy heard me. And the two girls cried together, and through the remainder of the time, they became close friends. One Israeli girl put it, "If I don't know you, it's easy to hate you. If I look in your eyes, I can't." This is the receptive presence we're talking about that bridges the gaps. It bridges the gaps between humans that know each other well but aren't listening, between those that are unreal others. It bridges the gap in the deepest way that we can listen to our world around us. Gary Lawless puts it this way: when the animals come to us asking for our help, will we know what they are saying? When the plants speak to us in their delicate language, will we be able to answer them? When the planet herself sings to us in our dreams, will we be able to wake ourselves and act? Can we listen to what is going on, the dis-ease of our mother, our greater body, this earth? Can we respond? So I'm sharing this way because I actually don't think it's a different capacity, the capacity to listen to a good friend and the capacity to listen to the earth. It's the capacity to quiet inwardly, to be the awareness that's listening to the thoughts, the awareness that's listening to our own heart, the awareness that's listening to each other, listening to our earth. So we will close in a very simple way, if you will, the final reflection of this class. And in this pause, you might take some moments just to open the attention to listening to sound. Listening in a global way, taking everything in at once, letting sounds wash through. And as you're listening, see if you can let go and soften in the body, relax your heart. So there's no resistance, you're fully receptive. letting the sounds wash through. Sensing the awareness that's listening as open, awake, tender, if it helps to have an anchor, a home base, perhaps like the breath, so that when the mind wanders, you can kind of notice that and come right back to breathing and listening. And then bringing to mind the person you'd like to practice with. Again, there may be many, but picking one. Imagining a situation where you'll practice listening with an awake heart with them. Reminding yourself of what makes this important to you. Listening so there'll be that intimacy and connection. Listening to help create a space where their fountain can flow. Listening to understand. Imagining the situation, perhaps feeling the anchor of your breath, and imagining the listening right now as you are, is with them, including the sounds you're hearing, loud, letting it be. Imagine listening to this person, perhaps with that inner coaching. There's plenty of time. Now what's happening? What's behind the words? Who's here? And in a relaxed way, you might go back to listening to the sounds that are actually right here in this moment. The more you know how to listen, how to relax back into the presence that listens to sounds in the moment, the more you'll be able to listen to the sounds, the communications of another when we're with them. We close with a poem by Anne Emerson called Birch. Choose one low-hanging leaf, heart-shaped, still attached to Mother Birch, and listen to all it has to say. The sound its slender veins make, turning light to sugar, the excitation of wind, water sipped through straws of branches up from the packed black well of the roots, how it and its sisters communicate with birds, and how it refracts the sun in your eyes, searching for the right thing to say and when. The cue will be obvious when it's your turn to speak. Its palm will fall upon yours face down, the lined sentences touching, the breath of your hand then whispering the language that green understands. Choose one low-hanging leaf, heart-shaped, still attached to Mother Birch, and listen to all it has to say. Namaste, and thank you for your listening attention.